Alright, man, I'm underneath the plane. I'm gonna try and swing around behind him. Start.
It's all up to you now. We're counting on you. Standing by.
Good done, bitch. You go one bullet kill.
Oh, one bullet kill.
What a clutch, dude.
Halftime.
Long H-bar is just that strong. You don't need one bullet.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is gonna be the last of my series of my this is gonna be the part 3 of. If you guys haven't checked out the first 2 and you don't know what this is about my time spent in Tent City, Arizona. If you guys don't know what that is, check out my other commentaries. Check out 1 and 2. I'll put a link in the description to those 2, and you guys can check them out to catch up to where this one is. Okay, so I'm in the tents, and it's the weekends. During the weekdays, I told you guys that I was able to leave so I could go to work, and during the days, during the day and then during the night, it was easy sailing because all I would do is just go straight to bed and sleep. I would get there like during the weekdays at maybe 8 o'clock, and then I would just basically sleep all the way until I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I could clock out, and then I'd be able to leave. Well, during the weekends, I had to get there at 8 o'clock p.m. at night on Friday night, and then through Saturday and Sunday, I actually had to stay in there, and I could not leave, and I actually had to spend my time in there. The first actual weekend I stayed there, I did not leave, or I didn't do anything other than sleep the entire time. Anytime they had like meals, or anytime they called their people to get out of their bunks, of course I would get out for those, but I tried my best to sleep. I tried my best not to eat anything from there. All I did was I maybe drank actually I did eat some of the breads. Like they had some breads that they had bread there, and they had some other things that were packaged, so I ate those things, and I ate some things from the vending machine that was in there, the commissary. But I did not eat anything that they served because it was just disgusting, like I said, and I talked to you guys about that in the last commentary. So during the weekends, there was people there that were there all the time, and you get to see like what it's like during the day. And for me, during the day, there was people there like giving haircuts. There are people there giving shaves, and you have to be shaved. You have to be clean shaved. And you can't have a 5 o'clock shadow. You have to, anytime you get released from prison for work release, you have to be clean shaved. And they made it like a prerequisite. You either had to be, your beard or whatever had to be shaved really nicely, or you had to be clean shaved, like your face is clean, and your hair is cut, and you're not looking scraggly to go to work, because they want you to look your best when you go to work. And that's just a prerequisite for leaving the prison at that time. And another thing is, during the weekends, that was when most of the gang activity went on. I kept my way out of it just by sleeping in my tent and never talking to anyone, not even looking at anyone. Even when I went to the restroom, it was really awkward in the restroom, because when you think about, like, if you're peeing next to somebody, if you have a weird, like, if you feel awkward when you go to a normal public restroom, then you're going to feel insanely awkward when you go to this one, because every stall is facing towards each other, and there's no doors. There's no walls. The walls are like half walls. They only waist high, so the only things getting covered are maybe your legs and everything. So that's all that's being covered, and you're facing the other, the other person. If there's people in there, and during the weekends it's always full. So you have to watch. You have to also watch your back in there, because that's where a lot of the gang fights happen. The prisoners don't always check the bathrooms as much as they want to, but that's just where most of the stuff happens. Also, the shower is like, I don't know why anyone would take a shower there, but there are people there who have to stay there the entire time, like they can't leave. So those guys take showers. The guy that was actually under my bunk, my bunkmate, basically, he'd take showers every weekend, like well, actually he took showers every day, but I never got to see him, I never got to see him go there and then come back to the bunk or whatever, like taking a shower. But during the weekends I did, and he was like so nonchalant about it. I guess he was so used to just doing it that he didn't really care about anyone knowing that he was going to take a shower and stuff. I'm just weird. Like, I guess if I wake up in the morning and I take a shower, I'm not like swinging my Johnson. Even if I'm alone in my apartment, I'm not like naked or walking around and doing stuff like that. I'm always like fully clothed, and I'm always even when I'm like walking around, I don't even like taking my shirt off. So it was really awkward, I guess. Having a bunkmate that didn't really care. It's not like he was walking around with his Johnson hanging out, but he was walking around with like a towel wrapped around his neck or whatever, and he just he had like swim trunks on, but it wasn't that it wasn't like he could walk around there like all crazy. But that's just how he was, and I just felt really weird about it. I don't know why. And it was during the weekends, and also the food there, there was only 2 things I ate from there that I would even admit to, because the other things were just disgusting and I would never touch them. Actually, I did try some like a orange or whatever, but I realized that it was a donated orange, so it's probably bad. And I did eat like some of the bread there, because they actually cook the bread there, and it's made by other prisoners. And I don't think the other prisoners are gonna give a shit about like poisoning them or doing anything bad. And they're fresh baked bread, so they're not bad. And so I had the bread, and they gave us these packets of peanut butter and jelly. I would use that, and I would not touch any of the mystery meat or any of the other like vegetables they would give you, because I don't know, it's just something about donated food and the idea of donated food. Anyways, I talked about that in the last commentary. But it was just disgusting. During the weekends, I mean, you have to make do with whatever. So they had Commissary there, which is basically a vending machine, and I would go there and get Commissary. But a lot of times, that's where a lot of gang activity, like the gang trade, happens. Is where the Commissary was at. I think like they would trade cigarettes and stuff like that in the tents, but they would also like hide some of the stuff in the condiments. Like special ways. I don't know how they did it, but I definitely, when I went there, I would just not look at anyone, not make eye contact with anyone, just walk straight there and walk straight back to my tent. And also during the weekends, I just tried to sleep my entire time there, and it's really hard to sleep outside when it's like 90 degrees and it's fully daylight. It's just really hard to do this. So anyway, towards the end of this, like I told this guy, there was this guy in there that the guy with the horrible smelling feet. I actually gave him a ride when they were discharging us. So I got discharged on a Monday, which was really awesome. And instead of going to work, I told my boss that I'm gonna be late to work. He said that's fine. He understood my situation. So I actually got to get out of prison. I think it was like half of a day early instead of going the entire 10 days, because they were getting really full during that time, and they let me go just half a day early. They let some other people go like really early, like a couple days early, but they let me go half a day early, and I got to leave. And the way you have to go through you have to go through all the holding cells again. You have to go back through the registration system, and then once you get to the front of the jail, they show you walk through this hallway, and there's like pictures of the faces of meth. If you guys don't know what that is, just Google it and you'll see all the faces of meth. they have all those ads up, and they have all these like self-help things up, and you know how to get better after prison, and they have all these things like in this hallway, and you just see like all this despair as you're going back into the real world, and they're like reminding you that you're a criminal, and you know in the prison the guards and everyone are like still mean. They're like it's their last attempt or their last time to break you down, and if there is any contraband on you, any cigarettes, you are just screwed. You're going back in. They don't care, and you don't even have to go through registration. They just throw you back in. But they this time they actually did they did a full pat down, and then they actually had me. I didn't do a full strip search, but they did like they did ask me to take off like pretty much most of my clothes, and then finally I got to get out, and that last door, they're like, okay, this door is gonna click once. You hit the door, you hit the button, and it'll open for you. And they're like, just walk out as fast as you can, and then the door shuts so loud. It is the most relieving door slam ever. And you walk out, and the door slams behind you like crazy, and you're just like, oh man, that was intense. And then you take like They put you out in front of the jail, and the jail is huge, so you have to walk all the way around. It's the last 5-mile stretch that you have to walk, but you're free. So you get to walk all the way around. There are cabs there that will take you to your car, but I wanted to take that walk just to self-reflect. I hope you guys have an epic day, and peace out.
God damn, girl, you got a fat ass.
Hey, instead of sitting here spanking the monkey, why don't you go ahead and like my boy GFXLab on Facebook. www.facebook.com/GFXLab. Thank you.